Sorry about that. Or we could say that he believes in fate. Now, the reason that we can say that is because it says that we know that he is superstitious because he believes they're destiny's shoes and that they would somehow provide the key to his father's invention. So that's showing us that he's superstitious, that he doesn't believe his dad is going to be able to do this on his own, that he has to have some kind of supernatural power or some kind of supernatural intervention here to help get him what he thinks he needs to or survive to get his invention up and going. All right, now let's think about what was Stanley's first day of digging like. And if you say it was great and it was easy, you're reading a different story than me. His first day of digging was atrocious. It was horrible. And we know that it is horrible because, he's having to dig this hole that's 5 feet across, 5 feet deep. The ground is baked hard as a rock. He's getting blisters on his hands. He's digging out the dirt and he realizes, oh man, I've got to move my dirt so that I can get the whole perimeter of it sketched out. So he's having to do double work to make it work. It's been horrible. So that's how that first day of digging has gone. I'd like us to go to page 28. We're going to get right in the middle of that page, right where we stopped at the bottom there. It says Stanley's great-great-grandfather was named Ilya Yelnats. He was born in Latvia when he was 15 years old, and he fell in love with Myra Mink. He didn't know he was Stanley's great-great-grandfather. Myra Minke was 14. She would turn 15 in 2 months, at which time her father had decided she should be married. But Ilya, and I always get that messed up, so if I'm crucifying that name, forgive me. But Ilya went to her father to ask for her hand, but so did Igor Borkov, the pig farmer. Igor was 57 years old. It's kind of gross. She's 14. He had a red nose and fat, puffy cheeks. I will trade you my fattest pig for your daughter, Igor offered. And what have you got? Myra's father asked Ilya. Well, a heart full of love, said Ilya. I'd rather have a fat pig, said Myra's father. Well, desperate, Ilya went to see Madame Zeroni, an old Egyptian woman who lived on the edge of town. He had become friends with her, though she was quite a bit older than him. She was even older than Igor Borkov. Well, the other boys in his village liked a mud wrestle. Ilya preferred visiting Madame Zeroni and listening to her many stories. Well, Madame Zeroni had dark skin and a very wide mouth. When she looked at you, her eyes seemed to expand, and you felt like she was looking right through you. Ilya, what's wrong? She asked before he even told her he was upset. She was sitting in a homemade wheelchair, but she had no left foot, and her legs stopped at her ankle. I'm in love with Myra Minke, Ilya confessed, but Igor Borkov has offered to trade his fattest pig for her. I can't compete with that. Good, said Madame Zeroni. You're too young to get married. You got your whole life ahead of you. But I love Myra. Myra's head is as empty as a flower pot, but she's beautiful. She is a flower pot. Can she push a plow? Can she milk a goat? No, she is too delicate. Can she have an intelligent conversation? No, she is silly and foolish. Will she take care of you when you are sick? No, she is spoiled and will only want you to take care of her. So, she is beautiful. So what? Madame Zeroni spat on the dirt. She told Ilya that he should go to America. like my son. That's where your future lies, not with Myra and Minke. But Elia would hear none of that. Lost my place. He was 15, and all he could see was Myra's shallow beauty. And Madame Zeroni hated to see Elia so forlorn, and against her better judgment, she agreed to help him. It just so happens my sow gave birth to a litter of piglets yesterday, she said. There is one little runt whom she won't suckle. You may have him. He would die anyway. And so Madame Zeroni led Elia around the back of her house where she kept her pigs. And Elia took the tiny piglet, but he didn't see what good it would do him. It wasn't much bigger than a rat. He'll grow, Madame Zeroni assured him. Do you see that mountain on the edge of the forest? Yes, said Elia. On the top of the mountain there is a stream where the water runs uphill. You must carry the piglet every day to the top of the mountain and let it drink from the stream. As it drinks, you are to sing to him. She taught Elia a special song to sing to the pig. And on the day of Myra's 15th birthday, you should carry the pig up the mountain for the last time. Then take it directly to Myra's father. It will be fatter than any of Igor's pigs. If it is that big and fat, asked Elia, how will I be able to carry it up the mountain? The piglet is not too heavy for you now, is it? Asked Madame Zeroni. Well, of course not, said Elia. Do you think it will be too heavy for you tomorrow? No. Every day you will carry the pig up the mountain. It will get a little bigger, but you will get a little stronger. After you give the pig to Myra's father, I want you to do one more thing for me. Well, anything, said Elia. I want you to carry me up the mountain. I want to drink from the stream, and I want you to sing the song to me. Elia promised he would, and Madame Zeroni warned that if he failed to do this, he and his descendants would be doomed for all of eternity. Well, at the time, Elia thought nothing of the curse. He was just a 15-year-old kid, and eternity didn't seem much longer than a week from Tuesday. Besides, he liked Madame Zeroni and would be glad to carry her up the mountain. He would have done it right then and there, but he wasn't yet strong enough. Well, Stanley was still digging. His hole was about 3 feet deep, but only at the center. It sloped upward to the edges, and the sun had only just come up over the horizon, but he already could feel its hot rays against his face. As he reached down to pick up his canteen, he felt a sudden rush of dizziness and put his hands on his knees to steady himself. And for a moment, he was afraid he would throw up, but the moment passed, and he drank the last drop of water from his canteen. He had blisters on every one of his fingers, and one in the center of each palm. Everyone else's hole was a lot deeper than his, and he couldn't actually see their holes, but could tell by the size of their dirt piles. And he saw a cloud of dust moving across the wasteland and noticed that the other boys had stopped digging and were watching it too. The dirt cloud moved closer, and he could see that it trailed behind a red pickup truck. The truck stopped near where they were digging, and the boys lined up behind it, X-ray in front and Zero at the rear. Stanley got in line behind Zero. Mr. Sir filled each of their canteens from a tank of water in the bed of the pickup. And as he took Stanley's canteen from him, he said, "This isn't the Girl Scouts, is it?" Stanley raised and lowered one shoulder. And Mr. Sir followed Stanley back to his hole to see how he was doing. "You'd better get with it," he said, "or else you're going to be digging in the hottest part of the day." He popped some sunflower seeds into his mouth, deftly removed the shells with his teeth, and spat them into Stanley's hole. Now, this is our Friday, and so I'm going to instead of keeping on reading, we are right at 25 minutes into this lesson. I'm going to stop here today because it is Friday. On Monday, we will have more work than we normally would do for this particular day, according to our online classes, that is. So we won't have anything to do in our journals today. We'll do everything that we need to do on Monday. I just want to say, enjoy the weekend, guys. If it's nice out, go outside and play. Ride your bike, ride your dirt bike. Sit on the porch, read a good book. But go outside if you can. Get some fresh air. See you guys. Bye.